Welcome to the Pantheon. My name's Hido, and today we're having a banking edition of the show where we have a look at, what to invest your money in, what not to, how to sacrifice creatures for mass profit. It's that sort of show, so without further ado, let's introduce our host. It's Fain, the broker, who is a 3-mana human warlock. You can tap him, sacrifice a creature, put 2/1/1 counters on target creature. You can tap him, remove a counter from a target creature. From a creature you control, create a treasure token. You can tap him, sacrifice an artifact, create a 2/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying. You can pay 4. You can untap him, and he's a 3/3. There's an absolute boatload of things that this guy does, but does he do any of them particularly well? Well, yeah, he's very interesting. He's take him a lot of different directions. You can sacrifice different sort of things, remove counters, all that sort of higgledy-piggledy nonsense. And I think he's really quite cool. Without further ado, please subscribe to my channel. It'd make me really happy. And I make all of these videos for you, just for you. So please subscribe and you can watch a lot more of them because I'm going to keep making them. So, number 5. What have we got? Geralf's Messenger. Triple black for a 3/2. It enters the battlefield tapped, but we're not really that interested in it. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 2 life. So, why are these creatures good? Well, it's Undying, really. We can sacrifice the creature to get the effect of, whatever. There's 3 abilities, 4 abilities actually. I can't remember what each of them does. But we can sacrifice the creature, it comes back, untap our commander, or wait until he untaps naturally, and then we can remove the counter, and then we can do it all over again. So anything with Undying is really good, as we've got multiple uses out of it. Putrid Goblin, another creature. This is Persist, which is, the -1 counter edition of Undying. So 2 mana for a 2/2, Persist. So when it dies, it comes back with a counter, we can remove that counter, and then sacrifice it again, so on and so forth. Lesser Mastercore is probably the best version of this, as it's an artifact, a creature, and it has tokens on it, so we can use all 3 of Fain's abilities here. 2 mana, 2/2, an additional cost to cast it. You do have to discard a card, and then you can pay 4, it deals 1 damage to target creature. Not something I think we're going to be using all that much, but then it has Persist, so it does absolutely everything you could ever want it to do. Finally, Butcher Ghoul. 2 mana for a 1/1 with Undying, so it comes back with a counter, remove the counter, sacrifice it. All sorts of stuff. We can do absolutely loads with this commander with these creatures. Then, because we've got a lot of things dying, Black Market is a fantastic card. 5 mana for enchantment. Whenever a creature dies, put a charge counter on Black Market. The beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add black for each charge counter on it. So we're going to be sacrificing a lot of our own creatures. But what if us sacrificing our creatures affected our opponents? So, whenever a creature you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. This is Grave Pact, weighs in at 4 mana, and the artwork is like the front cover of a metal album art, isn't it really? It's very nice. So, whenever we sacrifice a creature, we're going to force our opponents to as well. Dictate of Erebos is 5 mana for an enchantment with flash. And it has the exact same text. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Both of these are great. This is also a great artwork. Look at all those sort of men sort of like writhing around inside of Erebos' eyes. Horrifying indeed. Which brings me on to number 4. In at number 4, Thornbite Staff. So, 2 mana for a tribal artifact equipment shaman thing. The quick creature has pay 2, tap it. This creature deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Not bothered about that, really. And whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from play, untap this creature. So, one of the main, and whenever a shaman comes in, put it on him. Not bothered. So, our commander, we can sacrifice a creature. That is a creature dying. It'll untap him. So, we can just use it over and over again to sacrifice a creature and just get massive amounts of value. To go along with this, a couple of other untappers, because paying 4 mana is pretty hefty on our commander. 1000-year elixir, 3 mana. You may activate abilities of creatures you control as though those creatures had haste. So if we play this first in our commander, we can start using it straight away. And it's an artifact for our commander to sacrifice. Pay 1, tap it, untap target creature. So we can untap our commander or anything else that may have a tap ability. Helldozer, for instance. Look that card up. Staff of Domination is a 3-mana artifact with 5 abilities. Christ, there's a lot of abilities on all these cards. Pay 1 to untap Staff of Domination. Pay 2 and tap, gain 1 life. Pay 3 and tap, untap target creature. That's the one we're bothered about. Pay 4 and tap, tap target creature. Pay 5 and tap, draw a card. So this does everything. If you end up with infinite mana for whatever reason, you can draw your entire library. And if you can't win from there, stop. Just stop. And then Puppet Strings is a 3-mana artifact with pay 2 and tap. You may tap or untap target creature. Really, really good. This one's really nice as it has 2 of the abilities of Staff of Domination. And it's a lot cheaper to activate. Which brings me on to number 3. And in at number 3, we've got Revel in Riches. So, 5 mana for an enchantment. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any mana color to your mana pool. At the beginning of upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasures, you win the game. I would really build this as like a central theme of the deck, like the whole production of treasures. This guy's a banker. He's going to have lots of money. So play with that as you will. But with the sort of cards, Dictate of Erebos and things like that, we're going to be forcing our opponents to sacrifice creatures. So we want to get some benefit from it. Moving on. Ruthless Knave is a 3-mana 3/2. And you pay 3 mana, sacrifice a creature, create 2 colorless artifact creature tokens, treasures, and then he also has the ability to sacrifice 3 treasures, draw a card. Excellent in this deck. Can make a bunch of mana, and any sort of excess creatures that we got, maybe our persist creatures, we can sacrifice them to Ruthless Knave to make tokens, and then remove the +1/+1 counters off it with our commander. Pitiless Plunderer. 4 mana for a 1/4. Whenever another creature you control dies, create a treasure token. Works wonderfully with all of our self-sacrifice antics. Then finally, this is one of the worst cards here. Dire Fleet Hoarder. 2 mana for a 2/1. When it dies, create a treasure token. But it is a creature that we can sacrifice to our commander, and then it generates an artifact that we could use to sacrifice to our commander. On a sort of similar basis, King Makar, the Gold Cursed, is a 4 mana 2/3 with Inspired. When it becomes untapped, pardon me, by the way, you may exile target creature. If you do, put a colorless artifact creature token. It's not a creature. Jesus, Adam. Anyway, you get basically it's a treasure, but it's called a gold. Big whoop. But with all of our tap and untap synergies that we have, we can easily inspire King Makar to untap. Treasure Map, excellent ramp card that I really love. 2 mana for an artifact, pay 1, tap it, sacrifice, scry 1, put landmark counter on treasure map. If it has 3 or more landmark counters on it, move those counters, transform it, and create 3 colorless treasure artifact tokens. Then it transforms into Treasure Cove, which is a land, and it taps for a colorless, and you can sacrifice a treasure, draw a card. So with all these treasures that we're making, we could turn them into card draw to dig into our deck. Which brings me on to number 2. Pantheon. 3 mana for a 3/3. When it dies, add 3 mana. Very simple card, but it's both an artifact and a creature, and we're going to generate a ton of mana once we sacrifice it to either one of our commander's abilities. So this just epitomizes what we want to do with the deck. It's a card that we want to sacrifice, and it gives us a great benefit. To go along with it, we've got Mere Moon Vessel, which is at 1 mana 1/1. When it's put into the graveyard from play, add 1 colorless to your mana pool. Really good. Excellent little effect. Carrier Thrall, slightly different. 2 mana for a 2/1. When it dies, put a 1/1 colorless cyan artifact. I can't read today. Put an Eldrazi Cyan creature token onto the battlefield. It has sacrificed this creature, add a colorless to your mana pool. So it's 2 bodies in 1. So if you want to sacrifice it for the creature ability on our commander, you can, or you can make some mana with it. Finally, Su-Chi is a 4 mana 4/4. When it dies, add 4 to your mana pool. This card is incredibly expensive if you want to get it in paper. I do not own one, and I do not plan on buying one, but it's fantastic in this deck, which could lead you into making an artifact sort of based deck. Artbound Ravager, 2 mana for a 0/0, sacrifice an artifact, put a 1/1 counter on it. Then it has modular, which means when it dies, put all the 1/1 counters onto a different artifact creature. With all the artifact synergies that we're going to go for here, this could end up being a great direction to go with the deck. Scrapyard Recombiner is a 3 mana 0/0 with modular 2. And tap, sacrifice an artifact, search your library for a construct card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. So we could have a little construct package that we could tutor up, and, you know, we're not losing out on much, we're just losing out on a treasure that was sacrificed. Finally, Arcbound Reclaimer, 4 mana for a 0/0, comes in with 2 counters as a modular 2, and you can remove a 1/1 counter from it, put target artifact card from your graveyard on top of your library so we can rebuy things over and over. And also, because all these creatures have 1/1 counters, we can use the remove a counter ability from our commander. Brings me on to number 1. Ugin's Nexus. 5 mana for a legendary artifact. If a player would begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. If Ugin's Nexus would be put into a graveyard from the battlefield, instead exile it and take an extra turn after this one. So, just by itself, play this, sacrifice it straight away to our commander's tap ability, we get an extra turn. Not so bad really, you know, really quite cool. Nice extra turn spell in mono black. But if we have Prototype Portal, which is a 4 mana artifact that with imprint, which means imprints, when it enters the battlefield, you may exile an artifact card from your hand. So we exile the Ugin's Nexus. Pay X and tap it. Create a token that's a copy of the exiled card. X is the converted mana cost of that card. So you have to pay 5 and tap it to put an Ugin's Nexus into play. Then we sacrifice it, go to our next turn. Our Prototype Portal untaps. We can tap it again, take infinite turns. Not so bad really, is it? Not so bad. To go along with this, if we don't have our commander on the field, Phyrexia's Core is an excellent little land that works in the place of our commander. You can tap it for a colorless, or pay 1, tap it, sacrifice an artifact, you gain 1 life. So not only will we have infinite turns, we'll have infinite life. Really, really good. Finally, Casket Flesh Sculptor is a 3 mana 1/3, and you can tap him, sacrifice 3 other artifacts and or creatures, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. It has partner, but we're not asked in the slightest about that. Really, really good. Excellent card advantage, and it's a sacrifice outlet for all of these artifacts that we have. And those are my top 5 cards for this brand new commander. I think he's quite cool. In general, bankers are, well, wankers, but, you know, when you're playing as them in Magic the Gathering, it's all about, you know, making money, taking souls, that sort of stuff. And he really fits into that sort of web of lies. So thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to subscribe, please do. I'd very much enjoy it. Comment, subscribe, all that sort of rubbish. And I'll see you soon. Bye.